Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and Randy Brown from Thunder Horse Descendant had mentioned that she might need me to do the next missing link video. Because, well, we haven't been doing it for a while. We've both been pretty busy, so we haven't done anything. And she's down in Arizona visiting with her mother right now, so I decided I would try the next one. So in looking at our book and our videos, the last one we did appeared to be the curlicue. So the next one in the book is the double infinity. So this looks relatively simple to me, but let's turn down and we will check it out and see what the book says. So according to the book, we will need 5.5 inches of 18 gauge sterling silver dead soft wire. Well, it's 18 gauge and it's silver, but it's not sterling silver and it's not dead soft. It's German style, but this is what we're going to use. Chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, bell forming pliers, or a steel mandrel 6.5 by 8.5. Now that's the largest one, so that would be this one. Flush cutters, voila, and a rawhide mallet and a steel bench block. Now I have the steel bench block, but I do not use a rawhide mallet. I use a nylon head hammer. The next three things are liver of sulfur, steel wool, and a rotary tumble. We're not going to use those. This says that the level of difficulty is more challenging. And the tip over here, which you can't see, let me get things moved so maybe we can move the book up some so you can see it better, states that a thinner gauge of wire was used to create this link so that the wire would be somewhat flexible. To help the link maintain its shape once it's completed, leave it in the tumbler for 1 hour to work hard and thoroughly. Well, of course, we're not going to leave it in the tumbler because we're not going to use a tumbler. But this is called the double infinity, and it says, with just a few turns of the pliers, create this deceptively simple, infinitely styled link. So the first step is that we need to grasp the tip of one end of the wire with the 8.5 millimeter barrel of the bell forming pliers and rotate the pliers to form a double loop like figure 1, coiling the wire twice around the barrel and then remove the pliers. Well, the first thing we need to do, of course, is to cut our 5.5 inches of wire. So we will get that and do it. Here's our ruler. We will get 5.5 inches of wire. That here, 5.5 is right here. So let's get our cutters and we'll cut that 5.5 inches. There we go. So now that we have the 5.5 inches of wire, we'll get our bell making pliers and make those 2 loops that they said that they wanted us to make. So just put that in here and we'll turn until it comes around twice. There we go. So there's our 2 loops. They're a little further apart there. I didn't get them quite squooshed together, but I think that'll probably be all right. So let's see what our next step is. Step 2 says insert the 6 millimeter barrel of the bell forming pliers into the double loop with the 8.5 millimeter barrel on top of the cut end of the double loop. Wrap the tail wire up and around the 8.5mm barrel, remove the pliers, reinsert the 8.5mm barrel into the new loop just made, completing 2 full rotations. Trim the tail wire where it meets the end of the first double loop with the cut sides of the loops on the same side of the link. So, if I'm reading that correctly, what they want us to do is to put this in here like this, with it where the meets the then it wants us to bring this around, take it out, put this back in here, bring it around until it comes down here and meets where the other one's at. Okay, like so. Ta-da! Okay. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, they now want us to trim this here. Trim the tail where it meets the end of the first double loop with the cut sides of the loops on the same side of the link. Okay, so I'm thinking it wants us to cut it right here. So we'll cut right here. Well, first let's bring this around just a little more. So if that piece is towards the middle, we'll want this piece about at the middle too, I guess. So right about here, I guess, right about here. Okay, so now we have our loops. See what next step is. Step 3. I hope I did that right. Maybe we were supposed to have it so the loops were going the other direction. Well, anyway, with the cut ends facing up, oh yeah, the cut ends were supposed to be on the same side. So we've already got this wrong. So we are going to start over. Okay, so let's get our 5 inches of wire, or 5.5, I guess it is. 5.5. Right here. Then we take our large bell making plier and we wrap 2 loops. 1, come on, don't separate yourself there, and 2. Bing. All right, now let's try this again. Insert the 6mm barrel of the bell forming pliers into the double loop with the 8.5mm barrel on top of the cut end of the double loop. Wrap the tail wire up and around, remove the pliers. Okay, so what we want to do then is, if I'm reading this right, like this, take these out, reinsert them here, wrap to this direction, So the cuts are in the same direction, like so. Okay, now we got it. Now we trim it where they come together. So we trim right here. Oop. Come out some there so you don't create a problem. Okay, now I'm going to have to push it back into place. Okay. Okay, now I think we got them going the right direction. Hopefully. Oops. Okay. So now we're at step 3, which says, with the ends facing up, grasp the upper bottom loop with your flat nose pliers and grasp the lower bottom loop with your chain nose pliers and pull slightly to the left. Okay, so the bottom loop with the flat nose pliers, get in there. Okay, and then the bottom loop with the cut ends facing up, grasp the upper bottom loop with the flat nose pliers and grasp the lower bottom loop. Oops, we're supposed to have the upper bottom loop here. Come on. Okay, there we go. With the lower bottom loop with the chain nose pliers. Holding the flat nose pliers on the right side steady, gently pull the chain nose pliers to the left slightly, pulling the side of the loop without the cut in so that the shape will not be distorted. Okay, so it looks like we want to pull like so. That's cool. So, got there. Step 4 is turn the link over and repeat step 3 with the other double loop, pulling the loop to the left so that the space created in the center matches the first double. Okay, so we want to put our flat nose pliers. Easier said than done. This works like a split ring. So we put our flat nose pliers in the top, and the chain nose pliers go in the bottom. Oops, come on, go slide over there so that I can pull you. Okay, and now pull slightly to the left. Okay, there we go. That's pretty cool. They got about the same. Okay, now what does it say? Pulling the loop to the left so the space created in the center matches that of the first double loop. Pretty much does. The cut ends of the wire should rest on the inside rims of the loops. Rest on the inside rims of the loops. Well, I think it may need to be pulled just a little bit more to do that, because it doesn't. Well, it almost is. Let's see. Teeny more pull. And a teeny more pull here. Inside rims. So let's just push it down a little bit then. So it does. Okay, like so. With the rawhide, mallet, and bench block, hammer each side of the link slightly to work harden. Tweak as needed. So here's our bench block, and here's our little connector piece. And we're supposed to, with the hammer each side of the link slightly to work harden it. So okay, now that we have that done, I think the next step it said was to tweak it if needed. Tweak as needed. I don't think it needs it. I think it did all right. What do you think? Isn't that cool? Cute little link. And it wasn't really that hard. The hardest part was that the first one I did, I turned it the wrong way. Though I probably could have fixed that by just doing this. No, I couldn't. See what I just did? That definitely didn't work. So no, that definitely wouldn't work. Yeah. So anyway, you got to make sure that you turn the link the right direction to get this properly, because I had turned it the wrong direction, and so the two cut ends are on the opposite sides, and it was supposed to be on the same side. I think you could still make this work to a degree. It just wouldn't quite be the same. Let's see if I can do that. Well, if I get the pliers in. This is like a split ring. Don't know. That seems to be working a little different than the other side did. There's the split right there. Now, see, it definitely needs to be the other way, because see how that went and wonked out a little bit? Well, actually, you know, though, it's not that bad. This needs to come down a little bit so that like there. But it is a little wonky, but it's not as bad as I would have thought it would have been, considering it's backwards. See how it made a loop up here at the top at the bottom, whereas this one went sideways. So this one is made the same way, except for I put them back. I did them backwards. Let's get closer. That one's the wrong one. It's done backwards. And this one was the one that is done right. It's pretty cool, huh? I think this would make an interesting earring component. In fact, I really think it would make a really nice earring component. Just hang a dangle down below here, and then maybe a bead up here to hang onto the wire. Yeah, that would be a really cool earring component, wouldn't it? So anyway, we'll put our tools away here. And that is our double infinity link from our missing link book. Double infinity. Now see, here is the And there is the picture. Looks pretty darn close, don't you think? I think I opened mine up a little bit more than they did. I think I like it better opened up a little bit more. I think it's really cool looking though. I like this one. Anyway, this has been the double infinity link. So anyway, we've been making the double infinity link, I should say, from the Missing Link book. That's on page 78 and 79 of our Missing Link book. And this is a double link again. Now, remember, the first one I did, I wrapped backwards. You want both cuts to end up on the same side. These ones, this is the one that was screwed up because I have the cuts on opposite sides. Though it did still make a pretty cool link, but it's not quite the same as it was supposed to be. This is the one that's supposed to be. This was the messed up one. But yeah, so that's the only thing I'd say to watch out for when you make these, is make sure you're wrapping in the right direction so that when you come together, your links, your broken spots are on the same side. Because, I mean, you can make it work, but it does look a little different, and not a lot, but a little bit. See, this is the good one. This is the weird one. But those are really cool. I had fun with those. And I think they'll make a great earring, yeah, component. So sort of reminds me of a spider when I put it that way. So this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been working on the Missing Link double infinity link in conjunction with Thunder Horse Descendant. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.